We are entering the next game with almost no wait. We went from having 15 minutes to figure out to having no time to figure shit out. So we have Bob Chimichanga
Right.
versus Bobcao. Bobcao is playing Protoss, and Chimichanga is playing Zerg?
Looks like it so far. I take a quick piss. I'll be right back.
Sure thing. And we have our game score so far is 4-2. And we are heading for our game 7 on Moondance, where we're going to be playing Protoss versus Zerg with a fairly even map score. And starting in the bottom right corner of Moondance, it is Bobcao. In the top left corner of the map, playing with blue Zerg pieces, it is Chimichanga, representing PigPan. So Bobcao is going for a hedge block, and the probe arrives here at a perfect time. Perfectly good response out of a Zerg to take the triangle third. So far, the openings out of our players look extremely standard. Now, this map offers a variety of somewhat interesting 2.5 base strats for Protoss. Let's see what tech structure Bobcao is going to go for. And so far so good. We have absolutely standard opening for Zerg. Bobcao scouted the pull timing. Realizes that it's absolutely standard. And
Was this a hedge block?
yes, hedge block.
Okay.
Zerg took triangle third as his response. So we have a fairly standard PVZ on our hands. Now,
Except the Zenith getting crowded across the map.
oh, I didn't even notice that. That is going to be curious. The Bobcao is going to be supply blocked for a split second, as his second pylon is a little too late. The Twilight is an interesting option.
Makes sense, the hedge block.
So we shall see if it is going to be my favorite PVZ build of Archon Drop. I don't think the Zealot is going to do much, especially with the Queen popping out. I think the Zealot is just going to die to slow lanes. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Not sure what the Zealot was supposed to accomplish. It would
there
be...
should be glaives. Yeah, there's glaives.
Yeah, so as we can see, the Adept was slightly too late to help his Zealot brother out. But it is going to clean up the initial lings. We have glaives starting.
But very nice round.
Yeah, very well played by Chimichanga.
He's messing up his macro a bit, because he's been so harassed that he's floating lava, not injecting. And that's just what happens to people when they get stressed out.
Yeah, you know, we all make mistakes, and one of the benefits of being aggressive is that you don't have to react. You know exactly what is happening, and even if you don't achieve 100% of the goals of your aggression, you might end up just messing up your opponent enough that you get an advantage.
But we also see not just the Zerg messed it up, the Protoss also messed up for multitasking. These gateways finished way too late, and it looks like he did not pull out of gas because he's floating 300. And since adepts are obviously very mineral heavy, he will not be able to spend this gas.
Yeah, and the main question is still going to be whether our Chimichanga, our Zerg, is going to be ready for the Adept harass, because while there is a Roach Warren, there is only one Roach building and no other army units to speak of except for 5 Queens. So the first 2 Adepts are going to arrive at our natural, which is effectively a third for the Zerg. They are going to engage with the Queen. The drones are going to safely move out of the way. 1 drone goes down.
And the DT follow-up. What a thing I want to criticize is that the Protoss did go for the hedge block, but now he uses not the angle from in between the bases to attack, which is the entire purpose of the hedge block into Adept.
But we still traded 12 Adepts for 12 workers, which is, I would say, a fairly good result of... Let's see if we're... Okay, so I would almost say that this warping of Adepts is excessive, because you're not going to be able to do the same amount of damage because there's already a lot of roaches on the field. So these 4 Adepts are going to be diminishing returns compared to the previous rounds, and the next warping of Adepts is even less fruitful. So I would say that the minerals and the gas that were used for these units is not a good expenditure.
Yeah, another thing to note is that since the Adepts were so late, the Zerg was able to go for standard layer timing.
And the prism goes down. That's a huge blow to this attack.
Yeah, so no DTs either. The Zerg only has 39 drones, but he can drone for a long time completely undisturbed. And he might have a strong timing afterwards if the Protoss does not go for Disruptor.
Yeah, and we have DTs warping in at home, and the Archons are morphing behind the wall, and as we already discussed in the previous PvZ, these are pre-patch Archons. They're fat! They cannot fit through here! And the prism went down, so we would have to wait for another prism to get made, and we are making a prism, but we're supply blocked. The third for the Protoss is finishing up in the pocket.
Yeah, I do not like how the Zerg gets attacked before the drones, but he is droning. He did not make more units, I believe, so this is correct play. A little bit slow on the drones now, it's only 57. Yeah, if he gets to like 70 drones or something and makes Roach Hydra, I think we could see a similar game to the one we saw earlier, our very first game.
Yeah, agreed. So let's see. Okay, I do like the decision to back off upon seeing the Immortal. And I think that our the Overlord is scouting everything that there is to know about this build. Like he sees, I don't know if the Zerg actually paid attention to the Twilight researching, but he knows that the Robo is producing, and actually we have 2 Robos, but only both of them are producing Immortals. So it is going to be a big Charge Lord Archon Immortal follow-up. It is an extremely powerful composition, and I'm not sure that getting Infestation Pit upon seeing that is a good expenditure.
We also
on a timer as a Zerg to defend this attack.
We also just saw Make the Zerg, a pretty classic Zerg mistake. He made a lot of buildings. He made spores, vines, infestation pit, and I think even more buildings without remaking the drones right away. So for a while he was on just 51 drones, behind the Protoss, substantially behind the Protoss in mining. So if we compare this to the first game, we see Protoss with a better eco and Zerg with a worse eco. So
Indeed.
this looks much better for the Protoss this time around.
That is an interesting drop of Archon Immortal. The problem with that is that there are Hydras and we're losing another Prism. That is a huge mistake for Protoss. Like, this is a second Prism that has been lost. So any attack potential that Protoss had evaporates with that Prism.
Yeah, he is putting a lot of gas. If these were Archons, I think the Zerg attack does absolutely nothing. And
Yeah.
the Protoss would just be in a game-winning position.
But even now, they're okay. So the Hydras actually clean up this army. If this base falls, which I think it could.
Close.
I
Yeah,
think it
close.
could. The Zerg is reinforcing with the Roaches. It's a pretty good decision. Since the
And-
Hydras are surviving, the Immortals are. We see battery
Oh, he
overcharge.
cannot engage the battery. He cannot engage the battery.
No, but he pulls back extremely
Yeah.
at extremely correct time. Infestor. Wow, that is
Yeah. The Protoss should use every breathing space possible to spend his gas. He doesn't have a Templar Archive, but even then, he should just bite the bullet and make Archons from DTs, because he has to spend his resources.
Yeah,
If he can hold the space, he wins.
but I don't think he can. I think if the Infestors actually, the fungal goes on the charge lots, negating
Yeah,
their
base goes down.
great ability. The base goes down. The links clean up all the probes, long distance mining, and actually transferring from another base. Oh, this is a devastating attack. The Zealots fighting
Yeah,
the
but-
choke point, so the wall that was a Protoss friend in the early game becomes its doom. We have a
Yeah,
Colossus
very nice of
on
the Zerg to kill the buildings they're trying to squeeze through. So that one macro mistake of of forgetting the Templar Archive could be the game deciding factor here.
Well, the Templar Archives is finished now, and
But the base died. And
but the
army
base died, and we only have 6 gates. At this point in the game, if you're playing Charge Lot Immortal Archon style, if you're playing a ground army, you should be at 10, 12 gates at minimum, since it is crucial for you to be able to reinforce with a big warpin of Zealots at the front. It is a key to your attacks.
Okay. Another side effect of what happened is that the Twilight Council died, so he's not able to start his 2-2 upgrades. And we actually see the Zerg going for Lurker, which Colossus do kind of suck against Lurker with range.
Yeah, do we have... We have the Seismic Spines. I think it's the Seismic Spines upgrade.
Yes, that is the range upgrade for the Lurker. And
We don't have the
Cadence
burrow
is
speed,
missing.
but in this matchup right now versus Colossi, the Seismic Spines are extremely important. And we have Vipers yanking the Colossi to the army. What a great play by the Zerg! And a fungal goes on the remaining Protoss army. The battery overcharge goes down, but I think that is still too much DPS.
No neural, unfortunately. The Viper should go back, but I think no matter what the Zerg does, he will win this game.
Yeah, and this I would love for Lurkers to spread out a little. Yes, Chimichanga is reading my mind. He's burrowing the Lurkers in an arc, basically blocking the exit of the army. If the army wants to go through, they have to endure Lurker attacks. There is no detection. Oh, the Observer is coming in now. But it it is going to be extremely difficult for the Zerg to hold. The Lurkers are reburrowing closer to the front line, and GG gets called by Bobcao. Very well played by the Zerg.
Yeah, we're seeing an interesting difference to the first game. The first game was won on economic difference alone, basically, and this one was won with superior army composition.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I previously said that I wasn't sure about the infestation pit going down. I think I would have preferred another army reinforcement versus the tech investment. However, the Warp Prism snipe cleared the way for the Zerg to be aggressive and not worry about an attack coming through.